evening all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Thursday evening, June 5th, 2025. We got important days coming up. D-Day coming up, remembrance of that. It was an interesting day today, too, because let me get here to the day's news. President Trump had German Chancellor Merz in the office, and of course he couldn't wait to bring that up. And I thought it was inappropriate in its own ways, but it's history. Neither of these gentlemen fought in the war, so it's a whole different thing. I didn't know that Merz had visited Ronald Reagan in the office. He brought that up today. That was rather impressive. We get the all-important non-farm payroll deal tomorrow, so pay attention to it at 7:30. The market is looking to see, are we getting a weakening in the jobs, because somehow the market thinks that's going to be magical to the Fed and they're going to react immediately. They're not going to react immediately. They're going to want to see the data prove that it's trending. That's my opinion. I'd be shocked, a scale 1 to 10, a 12, if the Fed reacted to the jobs report and cut rates next week. They could, but I don't see why they would. They're also in the afternoon at 2, we're going to get U.S. consumer credit. The news of the day, and it sent the markets crazy when it came out, President Trump and Xi, they did talk. They agreed to actually visit each other, and the teams are re-engaging in negotiation. I don't know what that means. In order for us to get rare earths, is the president going to change his policy on chips? I hope he does. I hope that the new chips that NVDA's got, that Jensen Huang has said will meet the U.S. criteria, are allowed to go there. I think the Chinese students should be allowed to come to the United States. I think this doesn't benefit anybody to get into this craziness right now. China's a growing country. The U.S. cannot keep a cloak over them and think they can just keep holding them back. It's not going to be that way. They can try all they want, but these are ingenious people, and they have a government that the people just follow, and away they go. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying it's the way it is. And they are bright people. The U.S. trade deficit narrowed sharply as imports not coming in. Well, of course, everybody front-loaded as the tariff news was known, and that's what you saw. Who's getting hurt from it? Canada. You did hear today that Prime Minister Carney and President Trump have been very quietly talking to each other, and that's good. We don't want, I as an American do not want a problem with Canada. I embrace them. And I understand trade. I understand that maybe we were taken advantage of. Okay, cut that off, embrace your friend, and work out a deal. I believe what I'm saying, by the way, and I know that you'll say I'm naive. I don't think I'm naive. They're still major trading partner to the United States. We need them. They need us. All right. You were everywhere today, and unfortunately for Elon Musk, I was watching this market. It was down 20% almost. It finished down about 14. Why is he falling into the trap that he saw President Trump lay for everybody? As I said, German Chancellor Merz did a phenomenal job today in the White House. He fell into no traps, smiled, praised the president, got on the right side. Musk is gone, and now he's attacking. Who does that benefit? I thought they were BFF, best friends forever. At the end of the day, bury the hatchet. Elon's got to stay out of politics. Go back to working at your company and support it. You hurt your investors today, Elon. $50 drop. At one point, nearly $60. That's a heck of a drop, okay? We'll see if the market recovers from it. It's now taken back nearly everything from when Musk said he was leaving Doge and the market rallied. They said he's going to get in one day. Kaboom. Not good. Bonds and notes, why get involved in those? All right, right here in front of the jobs report. In fact, I don't think you want to do anything until after 7:30 in the morning in the way of new positions tomorrow. Let the dust, first let the storm come in, let the dust settle, and pick up the scraps. The neat thing is the report comes out at 7:30. The market opens at 8:30. Let the first trades take place. Take a look at what the futures did. If you trade in any of these DIA, QQQ, and so on, you'll have an idea what it's going to do and pick your spots. I'm so glad that one of you asked me about MP Materials. Look, we just started covering the market when I was here last week, and I said to you here, go look at the videos. I said, if this market takes out this number, you could really get a jump in this. That was pretty interesting, and it's exactly what occurred, and the market has done that. Now, do I think we're just going up and over that number? No. I think it'll have some resistance up here. We'll see. The market, as you can see over all these key moving averages that I have on the chart, that's bullish. The Bollinger Band, you're now 2 days in a row over it. You can go more than that, but you're in borrowed time. The market's going to pull back, probably looking for support at the 100-day average at the 23.42, about, let's call it $2.50 lower or so. You're overbought. So I'll let the other guys pick it up, but I'm really happy that one of you gave me that. And with that in mind, what do you want me to cover starting tomorrow for this weekend? So write me and we'll try to cover one of those. And I'll move this and keep this on the charts for a while so we get to see how it plays itself out. In Eli Lilly, I think I'm pretty clear. I'm very friendly. I think the market is waiting for pullbacks into support at the 738 level. It's now into the resistance of the upper Bollinger Band. Broadcom's just nonstop. This type of company just keeps going and going because AI is not stopping. AI is here. It's going to stay here. Procter & Gamble, I was listening today as to how many people they're letting go. I think it's 10% of the workforce. But when you read into a lot of it, AI's taken over some of these duties. And that's the interesting part. And I heard another report today that up to 60% of the jobs that people have today could be eliminated by AI. That doesn't mean people go unemployed. They have to be retrained to other parts that will work with the AI. So is it productive? I can tell you in my own company how much programming time it is saving. If you're a programmer, you've got to be a senior programmer because that little jobs where you're putting in the data, those are going to disappear. So you're either going to have the low-end jobs stay or the top end. I think AI can do that middle level. And that's what we're seeing in our own company, and it's fascinating to watch. It would take us weeks to write a program that we needed for something. I swear to you, it's 24 hours now. And I watch it, and I make my people let me see how they're doing it. And you really are talking. By writing in, you're talking to the program. I can imagine that voice is going to take that. You don't even have to type soon. I really believe all this. And I don't think it's more than a year where you're going to be able to talk to it, and that'll even save you more time. I can't wait for that because I'm not a programmer, but I think like one, and I have so many questions I want to ask on some trade ideas. Lower highs, lower lows, Google fighting right now for support right through here. It rallied back today right into what I teach you here. The resistance, as we said, because you came down to the 18-day, the old resistance stopped the market of the combination of those two numbers. The bias is up. The market is corrected in an overbought condition. Now what's next? That's really the question. Netflix is nonstop. Even with all the noise today in the rest of the market, let's go, baby. New all-time highs to 1250 now. Robinhood, new all-time high. All this volatility just falls into the hands of the brokerage firm like that. Then we get to Tesla. I couldn't wait to bring this chart up. You just cut through everything. You're very oversold. There's big support down here. Real big support, $30 lower. It starts a little bit higher than that, actually, right into the zone here. So we'll see what it can do. But let's say that the 250 zone, that area, going to be supportive. I don't know. I don't catch a falling knife. I don't believe in that. I'd rather wait for the market to establish whatever it's going to do from this because I don't know what their relationship's going to get like. Obviously, this has nothing to do with Tesla as much as it does the relationship with the president and Musk. Higher lows, higher highs, right up to the upper band. That's where I look for resistance. Does it mean the market has to stop? Of course it doesn't. Does it mean the probabilities are it'll stop there? Of course it does. And that's because only 5% of the time do you close over it. Now, if the market can get back and start going more sideways, that becomes another bullish event. But the market spent a lot of its power here, so we'll see what it can do. In XLF, I don't see a trend in the financial services. Higher high, lower low, nothing I see there. XLI, it's the same thing. And notice this is another market where the Bollinger Band top and bottom are racing to the market, and you've been going sideways. It's setting itself up for a pretty good move, in my opinion. You've been sideways in the energy. I think I've said that over and over. Look at how often you hit the 18-day average and you don't follow through up or down. One of these times it will. I don't want any part of that. In the GLD, you had an outside day to the downside. Do you know how to work with outside days? I have a course for you on the website at iraepstein.com under courses, and it teaches you how to work with that from my perspective. In SLV, you can see how the market now is back over the upper Bollinger Band. I believe that my next special report should be on silver, so I'm going to prepare all the charts tomorrow. I started working on it the other day, and it got away from me. I have been saying, I did a TV interview in Australia. Today's Thursday, yesterday, and they asked me what I thought was going to happen. I said, one of my favorite trades right now is silver. I did not know it was going to do this today. Copper market, one of my favorites too. I mean, if the U.S. and China get along and China's factories can pick up their momentum again, watch out. Then the copper usage comes back into play. Plus, you've lost all that copper for a while, maybe to the end of the year, out of the Republic of Congo. And that's very important because, according to the Copper Council, that makes up the majority in terms of tonnage, not that it's their copper, but in terms of tonnage of the surplus they were looking for this year. In BND, you've got a lower and low, higher high. You're caught in this sideways action temporarily. Nothing wrong with that. Interest rates aren't going up or down freely. That's what it's saying. And in the dollar, I'm nervous that this market wants to break through these lows. If it does, I'm telling you what starts happening. It could feed on itself at that point. Do I know if it will? Of course I don't. But do I think it will? Yeah. And I think that if it gets under there, you should get nervous and you want to own commodities. You don't want to own the dollar. You're going to want to own gold, silver, whatever it is. And that's because there could be another 6 to 8% drop after that in the market. That's a big one. It's one of the things that has benefited the U.S. is the falling dollars offset a certain amount of the inflation that we've seen due to higher prices with the tariffs. Again, the FXE, I'm bullish, all right? I don't think you've seen the end of the FXE on the upside. So you put it together, you get game plans. Part of a game plan is knowing, like on a day like tomorrow, you're probably going to have moves all over the place. That's where pivot points come in. Pivot points are a formula that looks at the prior day's open, high, low, close, and through it, you develop the previous line, the pivot, and from there, above the market, sell numbers, and below the market, buy numbers. You put it all together, and that's how it would look, and I add to that momentum. I've used this for years, not a few years, probably, I'm thinking 30 years, 35 years. The fellow that taught it to me was Larry Williams. I was watching him do this through accounts in our company many, many decades ago. And I mean many, so, and you learn these techniques because you ask questions and get inquisitive. It doesn't mean I want to use them or don't want them. I want to know how to use them. I want to know how to use MACD. I want to know RSI. I want to know stochastics. And then you choose which ones fits your personality and your style. Go to iraepstein.com, pivot points. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great day.